On today's episode of Beauty Behind the Brand, we are chatting with Emily Revy, owner and operator of Revy. She turned her love of travel into her passion and now her career. Emily has founded this business and she's creating a team that is just flourishing and growing even during hard times with the pandemic. She's definitely got a real purpose behind what she's doing. So let's get into the first episode and can't wait for you guys to hear this one. So how did you get into the industry you're in, Emily? Like what kind of sparked that for you?
So I'm in the travel and tourism industry. So it was definitely sparked from a super young age with my parents constantly traveling. So we kind of jumped around the world, living in the States, living in England, and traveling just all around North America, traveling around Africa, Australia, everything. It was amazing. So they had taken me to North America, to Canada, when I was about 14 years old, to this tiny little town called Revelstoke. And I absolutely fell in love with it. And I decided that that was kind of where I wanted to be. And that was where I kind of wanted to learn a little bit more about it as well, and learn about what was drawing people to this town and what was drawing people to travel to different areas as well. And so, yeah, I decided to jump into university to do my Bachelor of Tourism Management. And so that really gave me even more understanding of why people travel, different habits, different behaviorals that people have when they're traveling. And yeah, and so it definitely sparked my interest in the industry and wanting to get into it. And I think I'll always be interested in travel as well. I don't think that's going.
Young age, like I look at even your family, for example, and Emily and I,
Yeah.
years now, like
5 years now.
5 years, I guess. Yeah. So, and looking at your family, how like spread out everybody is, like literally around the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect. And then that's great because you can go visit everybody in a different country and stay with them.
You got a place to stay, so.
Yeah. The whole family is interested in the same industry that I'm in, which is awesome because I get input from every single one of them on something, which is great. They've really helped me.
That's amazing. I know I'm jealous we're not going to be able to come out and ski and see you guys, but it just keeps getting pushed year after year. So tell me kind of, I feel like I know quite a bit about your business just from the summer chatting about it, but tell everyone like the exciting, how you launched your own business and all that exciting stuff.
So my business is Revy. So it's Revy Vacation Rentals. So I manage other people's vacation homes. So we've got a number of different condos, luxury lodges, units downtown as well that we manage for other people. So we deal with all the guest communication. We deal with people coming into town, guest satisfaction. We try to really exceed everybody's expectations. Owner satisfaction. We deal with all the accounting side of things as well. And then we also deal with, we're really trying to move into kind of an adventure booking side of things as well. So somebody can come to Revelstoke, they can get their accommodation through us, and then they can also get hopefully lift tickets, rentals, any sort of activity that they want to do. We've already partnered with a shuttle company as well to be able to bring you from the airport to your property in Revelstoke too. So it's been really awesome. I started it in March, and yeah, it's been a crazy time to start a travel company, but what a learning curve. And it's been absolutely amazing. Like, I cannot believe the feedback that we've had in the community. And we've been really trying to be a part of the community as well. We are a local business, and we're really trying to push the fact that we are a local business. We're there for the owners and for the guests that are coming to Revelstoke. And we're really, really excited to see how big this can get. We know we're like on the precipice of travel again. So yeah, we're just really getting ourselves set up so that it's just going to be this huge boom eventually.
Oh, definitely. Because John and I were talking about the history, how history repeats itself. You look when the swine flu and all those different things happened in like the 1918s, and then the roaring 20s happened. Everyone's just gonna, once this, they're gonna go crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just really trying to position ourselves and make sure that we're flexible at this time for loads of different people, but we're just getting ourselves ready for that boom. So it'll be really cool.
And I love, like, I know personally from traveling, like, it's so nice to have that one-stop shop. So you're not having to contact all these outside sources of somewhere you don't know anybody or the connections. So
yeah.
And how long have you been in Revelstoke now?
So I've been in Revelstoke now since 2011. So almost 12 years. Yeah. And so I call myself a Revelstoke local, definitely.
I was just going to say, you're at the 10-year mark.
Yeah, exactly. So that I'm here for good. So yeah, I definitely know a lot about Revelstoke and I can talk about it really easily with people. So I love when somebody calls to book instead of just books online, because then I can like have this huge chat with them and tell them the best spots to go and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I definitely try to reach my guests in other ways as well. So having a welcome book when they get to the property, that they can see all of that information anyway,
Yeah.
even if they don't get a chance to, have a phone chat with me. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Personal connection. Like I
Yeah,
feel that's something where working in the service industry, that's something I completely miss. Like just simply seeing people. I know it sounds really weird, but even touching people, like having
yeah, looking people.
a hug, like
Yeah,
anything, right?
yeah.
So
I'm like straight in for a handshake with somebody new, and I can't do that. I'm like, hi.
yeah, it's a crazy world, but I love seeing how you're taking this time and you're being positive about it and wanting to grow it and scale it that way, kind of get all the little things ironed out. So then when it does come time to get going, you're still up and running. You're still
We are still up and running. We still have guests coming. We've still got properties and everything's still moving. It's just slower than it should be for this time. But yeah, like I said, we're just really literally just did a huge mind map yesterday of how can we position ourselves in this time and how can we reach maybe more locals, people that are looking for maybe a longer term stay for 2 weeks or something, just getting out their house. It's a tough time for everybody. So we're just coming up with different discounted prices and different ideas and marketing ideas to still attract people to the properties that we do have right now.
I find that being a local Muskoka gal,
Yeah.
I'm born and raised here, and like half the hiking trails, like I think last year was like one of the this summer I guess was one of the only times I went Huckleberry Rock, which is like I feel like it's one of the like most well-known lookout points. But I think
Yeah.
as a local, you made a really good point of getting them out doing things, because when you live and work somewhere, you
Yeah.
don't have vacation in those areas.
Yeah, you got to take a holiday in your own backyard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you appreciate it on a whole other level too.
Yeah. And you can talk about it more. I mean, in my position, if I'm in Revelstoke and I kind of put myself in a tourist's shoes for a weekend or a week, I then can explain it a lot better to them as well. And I can say like, oh, I just tried that and that was awesome. Or, yeah.
Well, I know with aesthetics, that's something like the school I went to, we actually had to get all the services done. So to get our certificate. So whether it was waxing or it was pedicures or any lash extensions, like you had to get it done in order to pass that specific module. So to your point, you can't explain something you've never done.
So you don't have tried. Yeah.
Exactly. So then with your education and everything, you kind of touched on point there for like your after high school scenario with like college, university kind of thing. And then with the tourism itself, like how did you educate yourself to start your business and to get to that level?
I definitely started right from the very basics again. So we've got this amazing resource in BC called Small Business BC. And it's like a little online college that you can just attend different webinars. And I went straight from the beginning to how to write your own business plan. And I just went through all the webinars and did all of the different assignments that they had put out and just applied it to my own business. And so by the end of taking, 6 webinars, I'd created my whole business plan, cash flow analysis, everything to go along with it, and kind of had myself set up ready to go. So I really, really recommend, finding something in Ontario if somebody is starting out, finding something similar if you don't really know where to start, because this just gave me like straight back to the basics. I definitely gone in being like, oh, I've written a business plan at university, like I've done this at university, but really when you're coming up with new ideas, it's really, really good to go back and see what other people are saying and how it's been updated now. And they give you loads of great templates, and yeah, it was extremely useful for me.
Well, and I think too with the resources, like I look at the grants the government's giving us right now as small business owners, and like even my heart goes out for the ones that haven't been able to get previously, for being in past, like for myself having experience and having the numbers already, but starting businesses like yourself. I know in Ontario now they're starting to do more grant systems, but even reaching out to your small business centers, I did the same thing. I went through a program with them and getting money through the government way back in the day when I had started. But even just educating yourself on the bookkeeping, right? Like you said.
Oh my gosh, it's huge. Bookkeeping's like the biggest thing that I think most people have no idea what they're doing going into it. And you really like, it's so hard to to learn, that it's something that you've really got to sit down and be like, okay, I've got to force myself to learn how to do this. And I've got to force myself to like research all the different costs of everything. I can't just be like, oh, I've estimated that this is going to cost this. It's like, no, if your insurance is going to be a large part of it, then talk to the insurance companies, find out how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, because I think it's the fun, like, I think you and I are both very creatives. Like, we love like building. And I remember talking this summer, we were just like going off about all the exciting things we were doing and just chatting. And then it was like the numbers. That is something that entrepreneurs, I think we're not so much the number people.
Definitely not.
My biggest advice in that is like hire a great bookkeeper and make sure you have a good accountant, because
100%.
you wear all the hats either. And I think need to know that.
Yeah, literally, you can't do everything. So find the right people who can do those things and get them in the spot. Yeah, accountant was like the number one thing that I first got, was like, okay, I need to find a good accountant that I work well with, that understands my business, and that we can come together and kind of, you know, he can go through it with me as well and teach me alongside, which is really important. Like, I don't want to just be in the dark. I still want to know what's going on, even if I'm not the one that's like right there doing the work.
Well, and then you know how to pivot that business to bring in that certain income you might need, or write-offs or receipts and all that fun stuff that all is like, it's all in part of the numbers at the end of the day, your expenses and what you're bringing in. And like, I laughed so hard at your one Instagram video. I think it was all the toilet paper and like,
oh my God, 800 rolls of toilet paper. Yeah.
Like, you guys are like the Costco of Revelstoke.
Oh my God, I know, it really felt like it. This shipment came in, it was like 800 rolls of toilet paper, 400 paper towel, like just different products for all the properties. And it just like all came to my garage. I was like, nice, here we go.
Do like a drive-through, just like hand it out the door.
Yeah, start a product line, got it going.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, speaking of that, the hobbies, like what's something that you do? Like, I mean, Revelstoke, I like experience all those fun things that you're telling everyone about, but what are like, I know you have a lot of hobbies. Personally, I know you do, but let's do like maybe 3 of your fave hobbies that you.
So a new one that I've really got into this year, which has been so awesome, is backcountry skiing. So my partner is really into it. As you know, Miles is super into it, but it's like hiking up a mountain with your skis on, and then you ski down a different side of it, and it's like off in the backcountry. And I've never felt confident enough to really get out. I've never really enjoyed it when I have got out. And this year I've got a lot fitter, healthier, and I'm just feeling really good. And yeah, I'm just crushing peaks. It's awesome. Yeah.
The views, like the videos and stuff, I'm just like mind blown.
Yeah, and that's like the biggest thing. Like, yeah, it's tough to get up there, but once you're up there, like that being your view, just endless mountains, is just so worth it. And then that you get is great too.
What's another one you've been?
So other hobbies that I've been into is being, probably because I've been at home quite a bit, has been cooking, like trying to find new recipes to cook, especially working from home now. I definitely like can throw something on, do a few emails that come back to it. So I found like my cooking's really changed since working at home. I definitely make way more elaborate breakfasts because I'm like at home. I'm like, all right, what should I have today?
I agree with you. That's like John's been working so much, and I'm like hollering upstairs, okay, like, what do you want? I'm not a very good cook myself either. Like a pea milk and an egg on it. It's like my go-to.
Yeah. It's so good. Yeah, it's really nice being at home, that's for sure. And being with the dog. He's getting very attached though.
I think they're poor dogs after this COVID thing. I don't know what the animals are.
That's exactly what I think about Mac. I'm just like, he's attached to my side now. I'm like, what's going to happen when I can't be at home all the time? He's going to lose it.
That could be one of your other hobbies, is taking care of your pup.
Yeah, it is taking care of my pup. Yeah.
And then something like fun about yourself, like something that people may not know, or just something like quirky about you that.
Well, I'm really good at doing the worm, but there's more. I'm really into getting lots of people together. So being part of a community, making other little communities. Yeah. I've done quite a bit of event planning with community events. So I held these community block parties, which kind of brought different vendors together, music, just like good community spirit. And then currently I brought together like a really cool girl gang that just works out together every morning. So like 3 days a week, we all get together, and we have one friend who trains us pretty much. And we've just like brought this awesome community together. It started about a year ago of just 3 of us, and I think there's about 6 to 8 of us now who are doing it. So
that's awesome. And it makes you feel good, like having that community.
so good. Oh my gosh, yeah, you like have your therapy session and workout in the morning before even starting your day.
Oh, and you do it in the morning, even better.
Yeah, first thing in the morning, and like get up early, which I've loved the change of waking up really early. You kind of have that time for yourself before anybody else has kind of started the day. So yeah, that's been really cool.
I definitely have been slacking in the workout department. I think I have like literally in the room beside us, I have like a mat and weights and collecting dust because I don't think I've barely touched them. But you do feel better. Like I just want to dance. Does that sound weird?
No, oh my god, that's exactly how I feel. I just go somewhere and dance with people.
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm just like having my own day. I'm not really working out. I'm just dancing and whatever.
I think that's fine.
And I'm so
I did read a new book though, and I see that you're super into books, so I have to recommend it to you. But it's called Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good.
His podcast is really good too.
Yeah. I've heard that, and then so I listened to his book. Actually, I listened to the audio book, and it talks about waking up early and like setting your routine and everything like that, and that really helped change my mindset with it. It was super interesting. Yeah,
I think I'm not like a huge. It's so hard because like I'm forcing myself to read, and I feel like the more I do it, the more I enjoy it, the faster I can read. The more I look at it, like 2 months to get through it. But I'm setting this goal like every month I want to read a book. So I literally have like a pile of books that I just like books. Like I think they're pretty. I like to have them. I think it makes it harder when I have more books. I don't know. But
yeah, definitely.
I actually need to read them now. So I don't have that book, but I've listened to his podcast. But I wonder if I should just download the audio.
Yeah, just download the audiobook. I really enjoyed listening to it because you can like stop and pause, you can go back to it. There's like, he talks a lot about meditation, and he actually does like a meditation with you and stuff like that. So I highly recommend listening to it. I think
it's got a nice voice too. Like
yeah. He really is, yeah. Very English.
Do you even pick up on the accent, or is it just
I'm like, oh, he sounds so English. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
So then something like advice or something you would tell your younger self.
I guess something I haven't touched on, but this is 100% what I would tell my younger self / like anybody, is finding a mentor. I, throughout this whole process, have had this amazing mentor called Rial, who was part of the company that's done all of my marketing and my branding. And he has business coached me every week since I started. And he has just, I do not think I would be where I was without a business coach or a mentor. So I highly recommend finding somebody, he's not even in the same industry, but really understands it. And finding somebody that you really connect with, that you'll listen to, and you can just brainstorm with. Like, yeah, our relationship has grown and changed since the very beginning, and it's really amazing to see where we've come now. He's kind of like let me off on my own a little bit, which just makes me feel very trusted. And yeah, he's really helped me. So I highly recommend finding somebody within an industry that you can really connect to.
And how did you get connected with him? How did you?
So he's a friend of mine's stepdad. And so she had got me in contact for the marketing, because he runs this marketing company out of Vernon called Sporing. And so she connected me with him. And when I first spoke to him, he was just like, tell me about your business, like really excited. So I did. And he offered it straight away and was just like, if you want to chat each week, I'm happy. Like, you let me know how much or how little you want. And so after a little bit, obviously I was a bit nervous to be like, yes. But after a little bit was like, okay, you happy to do every week? And we did, and we jumped into it. And it just kind of helped me be accountable to somebody, because this was the first time that I don't have anybody that I'm being accountable for. So it made me accountable to somebody, and it would help me brainstorm of what my priorities were for that following week as well. So that's a couple of things that I found extremely helpful, as well as just 30 years of business compared to my 3 months of business. There was so many different ideas that were coming up, and ways to handle things. And it's always really nice that he trusts me to make up my own decisions. He's just there to help assist them. It's not kind of telling me what to do.
To have like an outside person, like your dad's also an entrepreneur too. So it's like one of those things, like my dad's an entrepreneur too. There's things that I tell him because I know it's just going to become his opinion or whatever. Yeah. But I think having that outside person to talk to, it's like a business therapist sometimes.
Yeah.
Too, right?
how I feel about that. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Because that's
Yeah,
what, like, even for myself, when I do mentor calls with other spa owners or other industries, like, that's
yeah,
something I find they almost, it's not me telling them, in some situations, I do have to tell them advice or situations that
yeah,
I've gone through, but a lot of it is just like a sounding board for them
yeah,
to vocalize. And then the gears, even with my mentor, I notice that I start talking out loud and all these ideas start getting generated. And I'm like, I know what I need to do. I
yeah,
just need to do it.
yeah. And that's exactly how it was. It was like towards the end, he was like, "You got this. Like, you just got to trust in yourself that you know what you're doing now."
Yeah.
And that's huge. Is like the trusting in yourself for sure.
Yeah. And I think everyone, no matter if you've been in business for 30 years or you've been in business for 3 months, you're still going to have insecurities and wonder and worries. And I don't want
100%.
to ever think that just because you've been in business for a certain amount of years, you know everything, or you don't. It's
And
all,
if you do, you're not challenging yourself. You're not growing, and you're not moving forward. You're staying stagnant if that's the case.
no. And that's something else within business. I look at some of my friends that are business owners, and
Mm.
taking risks is like a huge part of it. Is to,
Oh,
like, to the scaling and to the growing point. Like, you
yeah.
have to step out of your comfort zone to scale that next level.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 100.
for example, like, I remember just talking this summer and like all the different ideas, and I've never,
Mhm.
in the 5 years I've known you, like, I know we normally just see each other in the summer, but you were
Yeah,
like a whole different level. Like, you were just like so excited, so passionate, just the way
yeah,
you were confidently speaking about it. Like, I knew something good was coming out of all of
yeah.
this, like, right
And
away.
it was a huge leap. It was stepping out of my comfort zone for sure. It was my biggest thing was the fear of failure. That was like my number one, was terrified of what if this doesn't work? What are people going to think if this doesn't work? How will I cope if it doesn't work? Kind of. And as soon as I stepped off that ledge and as soon as I jumped into it, it was like, you got this. Like,
Yeah.
you got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to remind yourself of that too.
Yeah. And you have to have other people. I definitely have other people remind me of that often as well. Like,
Yeah.
you're okay. You got this.
And having that support of, like you said,
Yeah.
your girlfriends that you work out with in the morning, or Miles, your
Yeah.
partner, right? There's so many different sounding boards. And I think it's the hardest thing for people who don't have that to keep
Mm.
going and keep pushing and wanting to thrive and to grow too. Because
Yeah.
I look
Share
at,
your with other people around you. Don't just keep it to yourself and huddle in your room and work. Talk to them, brainstorm.
well, I
Mhm.
love, have you ever heard of Gabriella Bernstein's books?
No, I don't think I have. What books are?
So hers are all about like the universe and attractions and like putting it
Oh,
out,
no.
that type of thing. So that's the thing when I have people that are like, oh, I'm not sure about my business, or I'm not sure how to start it. I say, just start talking about it. Or you're looking to
Yeah.
hire someone. Like, I was looking for another assistant, and like literally I was talking about it and I said, we're going to find it. It's just going to happen. I don't want to advertise. The right person will come. And like literally 2 weeks later, one of my good friends from college texted me looking for a job.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
I think mindset,
Mhm.
putting it out there,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And talking to people about it. Don't be scared to talk to your friends and family about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
Mhm.
then you start putting it in your head, right? That hopefully the positive feedback or the
100%.
grow from it. So awesome.
Mm. Thank you so much for having me, Nicole. I
Yeah,
love
no
talking.
problem. It's lovely chatting as always.
Yeah. Let's talk soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Em.
Bye.